Take 100% responsibility for your life, give up being a victim. Then you have to get clear about what is my purpose. I believe each person has a purpose they were born with, whether it's to be a mechanic or a chef or to be a doctor or to do what we do, which is empower and enlighten people through the work we do. And so once you've got that, you have to have a clear vision of what would you like your life to look like, both in the business world, in your social world, in your relationships, your health and fitness, your travel and fun, all of that. So we have 7 areas of your life which we say, let's pretend that you can have anything you want, no holds barred. You know, God comes down and says, you're chosen, you won the lottery, you get the life you want, what would you do? And you go, oh, I'd like to live in this house in Malibu, I'd like to live on the ocean, I want to have 3 kids, I want to be able to travel to Europe 5 times a year, you know, whatever it is, write it down. And then using things like visualization and affirmations, you can start turbocharging that vision with intention and then some of the tools that come out of the law of attraction work and so forth. But you first have to know where you're going. I liken it to a GPS system in a car. Here we are in Santa Barbara. You live in LA somewhere.
Windy roads to get back here.
Yeah, but if you have a GPS and it says 929 via Fruiteria or whatever, your GPS system will tell you how to get there. Now, when you left LA, you did not know exactly where you were going. You just trusted a GPS to say turn left, turn right, turn left. Your subconscious mind works the exact same way. It is a programmable GPS system that will figure out the path if you program it correctly, which is putting in a vision of the destination. That's all you have to do. And fear is the mind killer. Fear takes you back into the amygdala, which is in the limbic system of your brain. You want to be in the prefrontal cortex, which is where the executive functions, where spiritual insights, where wisdom occurs, where rational, logical thinking occurs. So basically, as soon as I get into fear, I go back into this primal fight or flight or freeze place. And so I want to be up here. So, you know, basically, we now have technology called EFT tapping. I'm sure you're familiar with it. Nick Ordner and all those guys. And literally 9 acupuncture points, you tap on those in a sequence for maybe 5 minutes, 7 minutes, and the fear disappears. It literally dissolves. There's absolutely no reason for anyone to be in fear. Now, the value of setting a goal is to watch all these fears come up. I refer to it as you ever played the game Whack-A-Mole at the mall?
Yeah.
You got heads come, you got to whack them before they go back down. So we want to surface those fears so we can whack them using EFT and other technologies that are out there, neuro-linguistic programming and so forth. But now we have this science that just literally you don't have to be stopped. The other thing, a friend of mine just wrote a book called the Fear Cure, or The Cure for Fear, one of those. And she talked about one of the biggest fears is of the unknown and uncertainty of the future. But everything's uncertain. You know, we're trying to create certainty in an uncertain world and stop being afraid of uncertainty. Uncertainty is what's exciting. Right. If you go to Africa on a vacation, a safari, you have no idea what's going to happen. That's part of the adventure.
It's fun.
That's part of the fun, exactly.
If you knew, oh, there's going to be a zebra that pops out right here, or this is going to be next, it might get boring, right?
Or if you go river rafting, you don't know where the rapids are and how you're going to do it. And if you go surfing, you don't know exactly how the wave's going to break and all that and how big it's going to be. And so that adventure is really what life's about. So we need to be excited. Fear is created by imagining bad things that haven't happened yet. So fantasized experiences appearing real, everyone always says that. Someone else recently said, forget everything and run. But, but I think that if you realize that you're creating your own fear by imagining a bad thing, oh, if there's a recession, I'll lose my house. Why not go, if there's a recession, I'm going to make more money because there's going to be opportunities and we're going to be able to pay our house out faster. Zig Ziglar said, worrying is negative goal setting. And all you have to do is use that same power to think and visualize to create a positive outcome instead of a negative, and then the fear disappears.
And a quote of yours, I believe, is in the book, is you say, everything you want is on the other side of fear.
Absolutely. You know, we all live in our comfort zone. We want to be comfortable. Or get a mentor, you know, find somebody who's done what you want to do, and whether it's being in person with them, or reading their book, or listening to their home study course, or their podcast. Excuse me. But whatever it is, people have already done. Tony Robbins says success leaves clues. I love that, you know. And so everyone who's ever been successful has left some kind of clue. There's a manual, a franchise operation manual, a workbook they wrote, you know, a seminar they're leading, a boot camp. Go, get educated.
Yeah.
You know, I have a chapter in the book called Learn More to Earn More. You know, Brian Tracy always talks about the idea that if you want to make more money, become more valuable. Have more impact that you can give somebody that will affect their life in a positive way.
Yeah.
Whether it's your employer or people like us to our clients, the more I know, the more I can support people. Well, my first mentor was a man named W. Clement Stone. He was a friend of Napoleon Hill, and they wrote a book together actually called The Success System That Never Failed. And Napoleon Hill, we all know from Think and Grow Rich. And so he mentored me for about 2 years when I worked at his foundation. I was teaching teachers how to teach this stuff to kids to raise their self-esteem and teach them how to be successful. His big phrase was, success is not a 4-letter word. You know, it's like most people think success is bad, you know.
Money's bad and success is
Yeah,
bad.
especially back in the 60s and 70s when everyone was a hippie and the counterculture
Sure.
and all that going on. Well, we all have a lot of past experiences that we haven't let go of. Usually we're carrying resentment or guilt and anger, irritation, whatever. And so in order to be free to move forward, think of it like this. Imagine if you were walking down the beach and you had a belt around you and behind that was like 17 anchors and you're trying to walk down the beach pulling all these anchors. I want to cut those cords.
Sure.
And so all of your resentments, all of the people you're still upset with, your parents, people that, you know, might have even raped you, whatever. It's not that we condone their behavior, but we need to let go.
Forgive, right?
And just forgive. And the big problem is for most people, they don't know how to forgive. And forgiving is actually, there's steps to forgiveness.
What are those?
Well, you first have to own your anger. So a lot of times, women especially aren't supposed to get angry, so they can just get hurt. You know, Men aren't allowed to feel their hurt and their fear. That's not macho. So we get angry.
Right.
So someone cuts us off on the freeways, and we're like, you know, that kind of thing. Whereas a woman will be scream kind of thing. So there's these levels called anger, hurt, fear, remorse and regret, where I have to own my accountability. And then there's the part where I say, well, what I really wanted was, or what I still want from you is, and then I can forgive. So if I say to you, you know, you have a fight with your brother, let's say, and I said, go tell your brother you're sorry. Well, you're not sorry, you're still ticked off, you know? So you first have to go, I'm really angry that you stole my candy bar. You know, it really hurts me that you don't trust, you know, I can't put my stuff out and leave, you know, trust you not to take it. I'm really, you know, sad and that I have to not trust my own brother in my bedroom, you know, kind of thing. I want to take responsibility for the fact that I left it out. I should know I shouldn't leave my candy on the top of my desk when you're around. That's stupid on my part. I'm going to hide it next time. What I want is for you to leave my stuff alone, and I forgive you because you are my brother. I love you. I always tell the story about my father. When I was about 14, really hit me hard one day. And for a long time, I was telling him the story about my father abused me, you know, and all that kind of stuff. But the fact is, I'd lied to my father, and I lied to him about something. And when he found out, he lost it. And when he lost it, he came across the threshold into my room to tell me how upset he was, and he broke his toe. And when he broke his toe and he was angry at me, he just went like that. And so I'm not a total victim there. If I hadn't lied, I wouldn't have got hit. Now, do I condone parents hitting their children when they lie? No. But the point is, I can't play total victim.
You got to take responsibility.
Got to take responsibility.
Yeah.
Now I can say, I want you to not hit me any again. I want to trust my dad to take care of me. I forgive you. I understand you were in pain. I can let it go. So we have to go through those steps. It's not just as easy as saying, let it go. Speaking with impeccability means you don't put yourself down, for starters. And you don't put anyone else down. You don't gossip. You don't spread rumors. You don't be sarcastic. Sarcasm is veiled anger. And so basically it's like speaking from a place of integrity and a place of love and a place where all my words are intended to uplift myself, for starters. So no negative self-talk. Replace that with positive self-talk. And then to uplift in the environment, to say positive things to you, the crew who's filming this, etc. Well, we've actually seen studies done where when somebody yells at themselves, you know, gosh darn it, why are you so stupid, Jack? You know, I can't find my keys, kind of thing. It actually affects the brain in a negative way. It actually creates a vibration that almost, I won't say it destroys brain cells, but John Assaraf in a recent video he put on actually showed some brain cells dying when people were thinking negative thoughts.
No way.
Yeah, so some of the new neuroscience out there. But more interestingly, Dr. Masaru Emoto, who did all this work with water, he actually
yeah, I've seen that. Put the negative words on?
Yeah, puts negative words on the bottle. But his first experiment was to put a bottle of water, like, you know, a little Avion bottle of water on a thing, have all of his students send negative energy. I hate you, you're stupid, you're a fool. Took that water, froze it in little Petri dishes, bring it out, stick it under a microscope with a camera on top, and as the water starts to melt, the crystal starts to melt, it forms these big, ugly black blobs. Take the same kind of water, another bottle, on a different day, send positive energy to the water, freeze it, put it under the Petri dish when it's melting, forms beautiful snow crystals. So we know that two things were fascinating. Water has memory, And 85% of your body is made up of water. Your brain is made up of even more water, the higher percentage. So when you're saying negative things to yourself, you're affecting yourself in a physiological way. If you say, I am sick, you're actually creating sick in the future.
Oh my gosh.
See, a lot of people think when they're describing the present, well, I'm sick, you know. But the fact is, you're prescribing the future by describing the present as it is. Oh. And most people never get that. So this is why the people that live the most effective lives are always acting as if they're in the future and the future's perfect. You know, not waiting to get there.
Right.
I do this demonstration on stage when I teach this, and I say, you know, someone walks out and they say, I feel bad today. Then the body goes, oh, you want to feel bad? We'll give you a bad. Then you hunch over. Now I feel worse. Oh, you want worse? We'll give you worse. And then pretty soon I'm crawling across the stage, you know. But it all started with I don't feel good. Instead of saying, you know, we've all learned to say things like I'm having a healing crisis. I'm cleansing.
Sure.
Instead of saying I'm sick. Because basically anything you say with the words I am, your subconscious will then take that as a command. And so we're constantly programming our subconscious. We think we're describing it, but we're actually prescribing it. Your beliefs are a choice. We think our beliefs are the result of seeing something outside of us. We say, oh, I believe if a spider bites you, your skin turns red because that's what I saw happen.
Yeah.
But we can hypnotize people, tell them my thumb is a poker, hit them on the hand, and their hand will form a blister. We can tell people that this is poison ivy and give them maple leaves, and they'll do that, and their skin will break out in a rash.
Sure.
Tell people the poison ivy is a maple leaf, run the poison ivy on it, nobody breaks out in a rash.
Right.
So we know that so much of our internal behavior and our feel-good is created by beliefs. Now, then the question I had was, well, what should I believe? You know, what if I believe the wrong thing and I'm going to get myself in trouble? I was afraid to believe anything for a while. And then I realized the only beliefs that make any sense are the beliefs that will take you from where you are to where you want to go. So what are the beliefs that successful people believe? You know, look at Oprah Winfrey, born into poverty, you know, sexually abused as a child, but she believed that she could get to where she wanted to go. Someone else without that belief didn't try. So simply the belief, and it's a choice. Everything is a binary choice. You're either believing something that takes you where you want to go or something that takes you away from where you want to go. You're choosing love or you're choosing the opposite, which is fear. It's like it's a computer code, 0 or 1. Which do you want to choose? Now you have to become conscious because most people around you are unconscious and they're just agreeing with everything that's negative. Sure. That's why you want to hang out with positive people. So we have to realize that we have so much to be grateful for, so much. And so uncommon appreciation in relationship means, for me, at least 5 times a day, verbally appreciating somebody for something, you know. And whether it's by phone, in person, and if I can't do that, then send an email. So I used to walk around with a 3x5 card, and I had these daily disciplines set. Appreciate 5 people, meditate, drink 12 glasses of water, go to bed by 11 o'clock, whatever. Wow. And I had to check everything off before I could go to bed. And sometimes I'd get to my 5 appreciations, and I hadn't done it, so I'd send emails to people because it was like 1 in the morning or something. But you get into the attitude of appreciating. Yeah. And also then you can just have an attitude of gratitude about everything. If you look around this room, everything in here was created by somebody else. That painting was painted by a Vietnamese artist. That statue was carved by someone in Malaysia or Tibet. You know, this fireplace was painted by a faux finisher. Somebody put this carpet down, somebody wove it, somebody grew the sheep for it. You know, there's so much to be grateful for. And you go to, I was just in India, and you know, wood floors, tin roofs, people sleeping on the streets, you know, and you go, oh, thank God. But we forget. And so if you express gratitude for what you have, then you get more to be grateful. That's the law of attraction. Well, my favorite story about that is Joe Vitale, who was in the movie The Secret. And he said he was somewhere in Texas, I think Austin, might have been Dallas, somewhere. He was down the bottom of the bottom. He was living in one of those like $79 a month apartments with like one table that was like plastic, with plastic chairs and light bulb hanging out, a mattress on the floor with 2 sheets. I mean, you know, just the worst. Yeah. And he said, he borrowed a book from the library that said to be grateful. He said, what the hell do I have to be grateful for? I got a pencil and a piece of paper. That's about it. And then he said, well, if there was something to be grateful for, what would it be? He says, well, I got a pencil. I could write down my goals. I could send a love letter. With an eraser, I could erase my limiting beliefs. And that was the shifting moment of his life when he realized, I've got these 2 things. I can create my future by writing down what I want. And so, you know, if you're in America and even if you're on welfare, you're better than, most of the world, I forget the exact figure, but like half the world lives on $2 a day or less.
Incredible.
Someone in America on welfare is getting several $100s a month. And they got radio they can listen to, more likely they
cell
have
phones,
TV, they got a cell phone.
Yeah.
And here's another statistic. If you're making $100,000 a year, which you are and I am, you're in the top 1/10 of 1% of earners in the planet.
Wow.
1/10 of 1%.
A lot to be grateful for.
Lots to be grateful for.
There's a lot of people who make money who are very ungrateful and unhappy.
Yeah. They're comparing themselves to something they don't have. So start focusing on what you do have and feel great joy for that. And then the weird law is you get more.
Yeah.
And when you're focusing on what you don't have, even when you have a lot, well, I don't have that latest Ferrari.
Sure.
I don't have that $52,000 watch. All you have to do is walk through the airport in Dubai and you could get very depressed if you were in that mental state. Guess what? Whatever you're affirming, you're going to get more of. You're going to get more of not enough. So abundance is focusing on what you do have. Just go walk down the street. There's trees and air and birds and people that, you could literally ask people for $1 and most people would give it to you.
Sure.
And so by focusing on what you do have, it's saying to the world, I have enough. And then the reality is you're going to get more.
Sure.
It's just so bizarre how that works. You always carry a $100 bill in your pocket. I have several in my pocket at the moment. So the reality is every time you go in, even if you don't have it to spend, you've got it in your pocket. So you go and you go, oh yeah, I'm rich, I got $100. As opposed to you go, I've only got $12. So you don't ever want to be that I've only got mentality.